MULN Automotive, interesting video coming up. It's at all-time lows. It's created another further all-time low yesterday. A little bit of news. It's not particularly good news. We're going to check up with it. The reason for the MULN TA is the fax request we got in from Mr. and Mrs. Anonymous. If you want me to look at any ticker, anytime, a guaranteed video response comes with a fax, link in description. Right, MULN Automotive. MULN News, down 1.1% further on Monday, putting it into new all-time lows, despite the fact that some of their competitors had good news, as this article touches on down the bottom here, where it says Amazon and Rivian, both electric vehicle makers that are going to be competing with MULN, moved up a little bit, 6% there. Rivian aftermarket having met deliveries, and 8.6% down on Tesla as they missed their target. So we'll check in with the MULN chart and then compare it briefly with Tesla, Amazon, Rivian. Straight into it on the weekly time frame, where we've got our all-time retracement, which would give us a 236 at 3.045. We have the reason for this low being the 1618 extension of the prior low within the trend, and then we have a 236 retracement back to the top side, which provides symmetry and potential targets. The first place to break above is 0.7676. That's in line with a downward sloping horizontal. You get it back above there, you're aiming for the 236 retracement on the overall breakdown, in line with the prior high from the previous formation. You get back above this, you're looking to the golden pocket retracement, which provides symmetry on both sides of this move, and then the 200 period moving average there on the weekly, and 886. Should you start making extreme targets, it could go way back up, 1618, and even a flash target on the weekly way back up. So there's crazy moves potentially on this thing. Rivian already is above its 236 from its all-time fib. It hasn't had as long a history, neither of them have been around all that long. Next target to the top side, with this bullish engulfing formation potentially evolving this week, you could see it head towards 44.55. If that breaks, it will go to the prior high within the formation, which is at least in at around 55. And then I would anticipate this thing actually over a while making its way back to the golden pocket, which would be 75, and then breaking up 886, 1.13 extension. Full disclosure, I've got a little bit of Rivian. I don't think that I'll be necessarily aiming for 240 on this trade, but if this turns into a bullish engulfing formation on this weekly, then I will be targeting higher. There's a quick look at why. Get yourself down to www.patreon.com/Rocky Outcrop and select the indicator tier. We'll get that flash and also access to the Discord. Amazon on the weekly time frame, well, it's very distinct, different trend. For example, your Fibonacci is going like that. 236, you're looking to hold this if you ever get there, which at the minute, 27 bucks, you're a long way off. Currently trading at 122.76, 77, 74. Oh my goodness, right. So it's 236. That's not all that much information. Let's now take it from this particular low, see where you've made it to. Looks like an 886. Here's the high, take it across. In and around those levels, currently holding the golden pocket. If you do get a bounce here, 200 period moving average at 50% retracement, you aim for 129. Not all that distant. 236 retracement back towards the top side, where you find significant resistance around 164. That's the weekly time frame. Drop down to the daily quickly. Look at this move, see the strength and on the oscillators, then go back to MULN. And you've held topside, bearish control zone. Stochastics look like they've put in something decent start off. And you've got a possible cross on the MACD above the signal line. 200 period moving average, then resistance so far in around 141. So that's those first targets. $20 up from where you are at the minute, mind you. Not bad. And good moves at the start. You'll know Amazon do things other than just electric vehicles. So their daily time frame says average to range at 4 spot. That's interesting. Interesting things looking good here. Could be a lot higher in terms of volatility, considering it's made big moves, but then it does seem to trend quite strongly. We'll just drop down to the 4 hour quickly now. Look at that 200 period moving average. We're using this chart to inform our overall picture on the market, because we know that if you're a hedge fund, for example, and you want to go long on the electric vehicle market because you know that there'll be 2 to 3 times as many electric vehicles on the road by 2030 as there is now. So the market share for that particular sector is going to increase exponentially. And then you're thinking, well, electric vehicles is the answer. Perhaps there isn't the capacity in the industry to produce all of those in one company. There might be some consolidation, some mergers and acquisitions. So a lot of extreme volatility potentially in prices in this area, then you'll be looking at these and thinking, well, how does a hedge fund manage that? Well, they might want to take advantage of that volatility and the increase across the market, and they'd look for a hedge which allows them to go long. So you can go long on that particular stock that you think will do best from this selection. And then you could go short on a stock in the same sector, which you think will perform poorly. And then if you're wrong and your good stock fails, at least you're protected by the decrease in the even worse version of the same thing. And if you're right, then you should outperform. The long position will outperform the short. And this is essentially, if you distill it right down to its most basic version, this is what a hedge fund aims to do. And so with this particular stock, which has a high degree of short interest and is in a very obvious growth sector, then it may well be that it's attracting that kind of attention. Obviously, that leads to dynamics for the share prices that we may or may not be able to exploit depending on timing and paying attention to the charts, which is why it's important you always pay attention to the charts. And I highly recommend that you learn how to do all of this yourself by visiting www.technicalanalysis.school, where I have a course and I'll teach you, along with Rocky, how to trade so that you're competent at it, you're confident with it. It's providing resistance, golden pocket support, all pretty clear now. If you do break through this downward sloping horizontal, there'll be another one coming across these other highs, which could be a little bit of cause for pause should price action reach it in around this previous horizontal at 382. Retracement as well, 143, 141. First targets at these areas, next targets another $20 to the top side. If this doesn't hold the 200, slips below this previous low and drops out of the golden pocket, the prior low comes in at 100, and then you're looking at an 86 retracement at 90. That's interesting. 1 hour time frame, just for further detail. You're right at that 200 period right now. You're in the bullish control zone, so a little bit of away from that. You come back, fill this gap. It looks like you've gone through most of what is a potential harmonic there. A retracement now back down to 117, or retest this golden pocket 115. Perhaps you find the top side of this gap as a little bit of support at 120 in the first instance. We'll see. Looks good. It could even go to the 30-minute here. I mean, this isn't an Amazon one. Average range picking up. Good on the MACD. You've opened and pushed back above the 200 period moving average, and then you're in the bullish control zone RSI. Nice. I like that move, but it's all happened with a gap, so it takes it out of many sensible traders' potential for the day, and then a retracement back here brings it right back in again. You had a previous gap, so you fill both at once, get a bit of support there. Very possible. If we take this into its own little 236, I will get back to MULN, I promise, in a minute. 236 bounce there. We catching 200 period moving average. Probably does then. Starts putting some sort of formation in here, unless price action tomorrow just opens up back down below this gap, and you'd be looking for support 116, 115. If that doesn't hold, you're back into the 86 and those targets we spoke about before. But first instance, you're looking for this at 120. If it doesn't hold, I'd be careful about this post-market and open up tomorrow. If it does come back down, you know, it's already skipped this area once and then twice on the return, so easily could leave another gap there. 50% retracement at 117. Beware of that if you're using stops, that you might need them beyond this area, and then the implications for your risk and that how that affects your risk reward ratio and whether or not you've actually got a trading strategy that allows you to take this anywhere above this golden pocket, should it even be heading towards these $125 targets. Bear those bits in mind. But now we're back to the multi where you are hitting that like button. Thanks so much. Price action here is bullishly divergent. It's reversal divergence. Price action also meeting a horizontal level that bots will be interested in, the previous 1.13 extension. You make it back above there. The target is the 236 on the breakdown fib, sorry, the recovery fib. At 0 point, I mean, whatever you want to call it, it's the Fibonacci that measures the retracement back against these two highs, which was your breakdown area, downward sloping channel. Measuring the retracement against such is first off 236 at 0.5523. Break that. 200 period moving average comes in at a prior high. Golden pocket at the midpoint of this overall formation. Lots of other things to look to. Probably this Fibonacci here as well, where you're seeing the golden pocket retracement in with the 50% retracement. All these things are worth paying attention to, yo. Stop phoning me in the middle of making a video, yo. And would you look at that? Price action is breaking up back into these charts. Now we're on the 15-minute time frame, back above the 200 period moving average. You have got stochastics very strong, bullish control zone, nothing to worry about there. MACD, you had heard of cheeseburger? Stretch this out. You get a little bit of action there on histogram, A little bit of continuation, divergence, not having made it higher. You're broken out of this downward sloping trend, though. You would have said 1, 2, and then most recently 3 touches. A bit of pause here, broke to the top side. Good to see. If you do retrace at the minute, speculative Fib 236 comes in around that 200 period moving average. If we go back to the 4-hour time frame, we're looking for it, and we see you're in at around the body close on this 4-hour. It might be resistance here. If you don't hold that 236, retracements back down would fill a gap, as you can see. You know, if I stretch it out anyway, certainly can. Turn the drawings off. Do everything I can. Look, here is the tiniest little guy. Anyway, right, there's the potential to come back to those areas. It's not actually huge, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Daily time frame, you can see it's not actually there, just a technical gap. And then 2 hours, you know, you got a little bit of a gap here filled. At this stage, you could find support then at 3.4. It's at 3.552 at the minute. You know how you'll 1 hour time frame where you find like strong horizontal levels of support and resistance, opposed to on the 15, 30 minute time frame where you'll easily wick past things. And you're looking at the horizontal levels there. 0.3658. That's a tough level to break for a number of different reasons. But if you did, big percentage moves like we're talking about, you know, back up to the daily time frame and go down there, put drawings back on. Number of horizontal levels, you're breaking above this guy. Wow, it's fast. Got this downward sloping previous support, now likely resistance. Get into there, it'll be displacement of the previous trend. Conquer that and you get back above 5.5 change. Then you will be heading for crazy ass targets then at this stage. The prior high there at 1.6. Oh my goodness, this golden pocket and the daily time frame and 200 period moving average. If this thing does confirm a turnaround here and exceed this previous trend's downward sloping resistance line and the 236 at 0.55, huge potential trade on the go on MULN. Huge at that point, right? So, I mean, in advance, there's where it begins, and 0.55 on a strong retest of that, even better from above. And then you're targeting a golden pocket at 1.5, right? That's 300%. And it's, my goodness gracious me, it's looking nice. That's looking nice. Obviously, you want to be managing risk and playing it well, but MULN looks super, super interesting. I love getting these interesting faxes about interesting tickers at interesting times. Of course, we've looked at this a lot of times. But, you know, keep sending them my way. That's the trusty way to get them to me. You'll get these in, put your Twitter handle in, I'll get a video, I'll tweet it at you and everything. Hit the like button.
Klendathu, source of the bug meteor attacks, orbits a twin star system whose brutal gravitational forces produce an unlimited supply of bug meteorites in the form of this asteroid belt. To ensure the safety of our solar system, Klendathu must be eliminated.